What's up? Welcome to Beckham's Review. This is the channel where I sit down and review old stuff or new stuff. I review new stuff or old stuff that I haven't seen before. So today with my review of Hocus Pocus 2 almost uploaded on the channel, I was like, why not go back? Why not watch the original Hocus Pocus movie before? Because it would be random just to review the sequel without reviewing the original film. And I say, watch out for the boob jokes, because this film loves its boob jokes. There are 3 times where the boob jokes are happening. So let's start off with this. Let's start off with the movie. The movie starts off in 1695, where we see this random guy just running to save his sister like he's some Superman. So we see the Sanderson sisters, Winifred, played by Bette Midler, who was 40 when this film came out. Sarah, played by Sarah Jessica Parker. Get it? Sarah, get it? She's a character named Sarah, and she's played by an actress named Sarah, and Sarah Jessica Parker was 24 when they filmed this. And now she's 57. And we also got Mary, played by Kathy and Jimmy. And they are the villains of this film. And they are about to drain the life out of the kid from the beginning's sister. Yeah, but he's able to stop them. But they turn him in. But he's unable to stop them as they drink the life of his sister, killing her. And they become young again. And they decide to turn him into a cat. Yeah, really. They use a spell to turn him into a cat. So they get knocked off from the townspeople who decide to kill them. And Disney decides to show their hanging. Yeah, he shows their lifeless bodies. Wow, Disney, I didn't know you'd get dark. I know this movie was meant to be darker, but I didn't know they get dark. So then we cut to 1993, where we see, 1993, where we see a character name, where we see our main character, Max. And I'm not gonna say his actor's name because we all know his actor's name. So he just moved from California to Salem, Massachusetts, and he is absolutely not liking it. He's basically Daniel. He's basically every character, Daniel LaRusso, aka every character and everyone who just moved to their new town and absolutely dislikes it. So he gets the eye of Allison, who, and he basically, so he tries to say that Halloween was made by candy companies, and she's like, no, it's not, and everyone just cheers her. Yeah, she's like, it's just like saying, oh no, you suck, and it's like, yeah, I don't, and he's like, whoa, I don't get it. She's like, oh yeah, this scene isn't why this film doesn't make this film bad or anything. This film is a cult classic. But I'm just saying this one scene, she's just like, oh yeah, Halloween is called on Halloween's Eve because it can bring people back from the dead. And everyone's just like, yo, Allison, you queen. I'm just like, why is everyone cheering? Okay, anyway, after that, she decides to give him his number. It says his name on it, but who knows? It could say his name on it, but it's her number, because why would she give him his number back? Does she know his number and decided to give it back to him? Is it her number, but with his name on it? Who knows? So Mac goes home to his parents and basically tells them that he hates that they moved there. And then we get the first boob joke of the movie. Yay! First boob joke of the movie, where he's like, they're so soft. Okay. I have no idea what he's talking about. Is he talking about her boobs? Is he saying that her boobs are soft? They really need to censor bar these whole boob jokes. I'm imagining that there should be a censor bar on this movie whenever boob jokes are brought up. Censored. So yeah, so then his sister Danny decides to scare him, and he's like, "Oh, get my room," like a. So yeah, so she's like, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to take her. He's supposed to take her trick or treating," and he's like, yeah, I don't do that." And then she's like, "Well, our parents said you would," and it's just like, yeah, because they're going to some Halloween party. So yeah, before he got his sneakers stolen by Ernie and the blonde guy. Ernie goes by Ice for some reason, so now he lost his really cool sneakers. Yeah, so he takes her out and gets bullied by Ernie, by the blonde guy and Ice. And then she's like, and then Dave's like, "Yo, back off. This is Dave Seville." Did I just really make a Chipmunks reference? She doesn't really say back off. This is Dave Seville. I just love that line. Alvin Chipmunks, maybe Alvin and Chip suck, but the live action movie, the real life show is amazing. But the live action movie is Alvin and the Chip sucks. But I love that line from David Cross. But anyway, so yeah, so they're like, so he's like, "Oh yeah, you embarrassed me in front of the entire school because for some reason he's hip and cool like that." So yeah. So then he's like, "I'm sorry for yelling at you." And then they go to a house that's owned by rich people, which is absolutely owned by Allison. Then Danny makes another boob joke about how Max loves Denny's Yabos, which I can probably guess is another boob joke. I'm not saying it's bad. I like it. I love this movie. I'm just saying, why is Kenny Ortega obsessed with boobs in his movies? Or in this movie? Like, why is there a boob joke? And why is Danny saying Max loves Allison Yabos? Why is she saying that? Why? It boggles the mind. So, yeah, so he's like, "Yo, let's go to the old Sanderson house." Because I don't know why. And then they try to talk him out of it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we shouldn't go." But he's like, "Oh yeah." And then they discover that it's guarded by a black cat. And we know that that's the cat from the movie. Thackeray. That's his name. His name is Thackeray, as his dad said. So, based on what Winifred said in the 1600s, a virgin will light a black flame candle and resurrect them. And guess who does that? It's Max. Max decides to resurrect the Sanderson sisters because, I don't know, he decides to do it. They get resurrected. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're back." And yeah, and then so anyway, yeah, they're like, "Yay, they're back." And then Danny's like, "Hey, I brought you guys back." And they're like, "Oh yeah, let's eat her," because they're evil. And I don't care what the sequel said about giving them redemption arc. They're evil. That's all they'll be. I don't care what the sequel said. I don't care what the sequel said. The sequel, they're not redemptive characters. The sequel turned them bad. This movie is where they're at the spotlight. So they try to. But then they get away. So they get away. More boob jokes ensue. Third or fourth. So they get away and meet up with Thackeray in an old cemetery, where he's like. So meanwhile, the Sanderson sisters are discovering what road is. yeah, they discover what road is. Because at first they think it's going to kill them, but then Sarah's like, and then she's like, it's road. So they're like, hey, we have to steal kids' lives by sunlight or they're going to be poof, destroyed. Yeah. So they have to get the book back. And, yeah, they have to get the book back. That's what they have to do. So they get on a bus. So, yeah. So they meet up with, so they, after, they they get their broomsticks and fly to meet Thackeray and the others, and Thackeray's like, hey, I've been waiting a long time to stop you. And she's like, and we're taunting him by saying, hey, you won't be able to save your friend like you didn't save your sister. And yeah, have to remind him of that. So then they resurrect the best character in the movie, Billy Butcherson. He is the best character in the movie. Because he absolutely dislikes Winifred, because something about having a flame with her sister and her poisoning him and her shutting his mouth shut just so he wouldn't be able to talk. So he just grunts throughout the entire first act, and then Max is able to knock his head off, and everybody went home. Just kidding, they still watch this. So what happens is that they decide, so they fly away, and and it's because the Halloween movie, they have to, even though it came out in July and the sequel came out in September, I don't know why these are titled as Halloween movies. Why are these Halloween movies when they didn't even film in Halloween? So anyway, they discover a bus, and yeah, so they discover a bus and meet the guy who's absolutely smitten with Sarah. Who wouldn't be smitten with Sarah Jessica Parker at 24? She's good looking. Even she's good looking now. Who wouldn't have the heart for Sarah Jessica Parker? So anyway, Binks actually gets hit by the car. They think he's dead, but then he's like, yo, he's back to life. He's like, he can't die because when Winifred cursed him as a cat, she put an immortal spell on him, means that he can never die. Okay. Oh yeah. So they're just walking when they accidentally see Satan, or a guy dressed as Satan, and thinks, this guy, yeah, so he invites them to their house, and this scene would obviously be played in the sequel, and yeah, so there's like, so the wife is like, oh, so the wife doesn't like them, so kids steal their brooms, but they get kicked out after, so they decide to use, so they decide to use their powers to escape, and yeah, Sarah says, amok, 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 and like, it's just such a great line, but Winifred punches her in the gut, boom, K.O., you lose, poof. Yeah, so knowing that the actress who plays Peggy Hill is Mary is really good. So they decide to go. They get trapped into the school where they're burned on fire. So yeah, so now with everything over, they decide to adopt Binks. But the witches are like, but the Sanderson sisters like, haha, they're not dead. So yeah, but Max is like, hey, Zachary, you gotta go with it. I know that you missed your sister, but you gotta go with the fact that you didn't save her. You can't stop blaming yourself. So yeah. So yeah, so they took Sarah in bed, and they took Danny in bed, and then Danny gets kidnapped by the Sanderson sisters, and they and they and they use the book to fire Max, and Sarah's like, "Boy down." It's such one of the most funniest lines ever. Boy down. And it's how she says it. Boy down. It's just so good. It's just so good. So for some reason, in the first shot, it looks like they're covering Danny with her eyes, but then next it looks like they're covering Danny with her mouth. And kind of weird to change shots. So, oh yeah. So they kidnap Danny. Allison yells, Danny. It's like, Danny, what would your mother think? She doesn't really say that, but yeah, like, what are you gonna do, Allison? You're yelling Danny's name. Danny, what would your mother think about this? So, yeah. So, speaking of the mom, the weirdest thing happens. They just, before Danny gets captured, they go to a dance party where their mom's at. And the dad's at too. And Danny tries to explain to the mom the whole events of the movie. And here's what the mom says to that. How many candy have you ate? And what does Danny say to that question? She hasn't OD'd. Wait, what? What do you mean you haven't overdosed? What are you talking about, Danny? What are you talking about? It drives me crazy that I don't even know what she's talking about. Drives me crazy. So, Max tries to out the Saracen sisters, but they perform I Got a Spell on You and puts everyone in a mind-controlled trance, making them not as everyone gets away. So, as I said, they kidnap Danny, and they even kidnap the blonde guy in Ice. So they get there. They decide to not to help them. But then Danny's like, hey, you sold your soul. You know you're not pretty. You know you're not hot, and you knew it. And then she's like, I'll kill you first. So then they're able to. She's like, hey. So she's like, hey, guy, there's one intelligent thing that you guys don't know. And then he's like, there's one thing that intelligent thing that you guys don't know. And Winifred's like, what is that, dude? Is it so? And he's like, daylight savings time. And then is able to pull the blind so he escapes. And they're like, they tricked us. So they're able to. Sarah decides to use her siren cry to basically cause all the children into a zombified state to get them to them. So they all leave and decide to go and fight. Not decide to go and fight. They decide to go and I think fight. No, they get caught up and they find them, and then Billy Butcherson finally speaks and says, I don't care about you, Winifred. And then she's like, oh crap, you. So they decided to go. But yeah, so he's like, hey, let her go, and she's like, give us the book back or Danny dies. So he's like, and then if they wanted to open the book later, they wanted to open the book to. Yeah, they also call Allison a white witch because she uses the salt to force field them. And I'm like, does Allison have superpowers? Is Allison a witch? We never find this out. So, yeah. But anyway. So they wanted to find a way to stop Zachary and turn him back to his former self. But that's how the witches were alerted. And so so Winifred starts stealing Danny's energy, but then she starts turning to stone. And then the sunlight comes, so it blows up Mary and Sarah, and then Winifred blows up. So Zachary has finally been able to give his soul, now that the Sanderson sisters have been defeated until the sequel. Yeah, this is bizarre. So they decided to go, and so Binks' soul is finally out of his body, and for some reason Danny's able to touch a ghost. Like, I don't know how that happened. So the ghost of his sister comes on and is like, "Hey, what took you so long?" And he's like, "Well, he had to wait till he had to wait till a virgin lighted a candle." And that's kind of where the movie ends. The parents go back to normal. You get a closing shot of the book to hint a sequel that is really not that good. And that's the end of the movie. So, what do I think of Hocus Pocus? It's a really good movie. Like, it's better than the sequel does not compare to this. Because, okay, I know there's a lot of problems with this movie, but it's not big problems. Like, in the sequel, there's a lot of problems that I don't like. But in this film, I really enjoyed this one. I really liked it. It was really good to see, like, the actresses felt like they had chemistry. The main characters were likable, and like the boring ones in the sequel. And yeah, these characters actually felt they had chemistry, because they were there in the movie together the whole time. The sequel character didn't have that. They were in a movie together the whole time. And what is up with the boob jokes in this? I could count 3 boob jokes, plus the mom dressed as Madonna with the enlarging boobs. That was their boob joke. What is up with this movie and boob jokes? Can you answer me that, moviegoers? What's up with this movie and the boob jokes? So anyway, yeah, this movie is really good. I really enjoyed it. Even really from 1992. It took Disney guts to actually kill the Sanderson sisters and show their lifeless corpses. Disney, you got guts showing that. I know the original take for this movie was meant to be much a darker ending and a darker story, but to show the Sanderson sisters dead body, once they get hanged, they show their lifeless bodies. That was dark, Disney. That was dark. But anyway, this movie was really good. I like the sequel, and I'll see you next time when reviewing more stuff. Yeah, I'll be reviewing the sequel too. Actually, I'll be uploading the sequel. So, that's it for this video, and please watch me for any more stuff I do, because this is my profession. I love doing YouTube, and I like it when people comment, because, yeah, this movie was really good. Better than the sequel. This is how you get a Hocus Pocus movie done right. They didn't redeem the characters. The Sanderson sisters were villains all the way through. Unlike the sequel that tried to redeem them. I don't know why you tried to redeem them. They're not redeemable. They tried to kill children. Killing children is wrong. That is not a redeemable quality. Sequel, I'm calling you out, sequel. I'm calling you out, sequel. You want to fight, sequel? I'm calling you out, Hocus Pocus 2, because there are a lot of problems I have with you. You are trying to redeem the Sanderson sisters. They are murderers. They kill people. They kill children. And you are trying to redeem them? What is wrong with you? Sequel. They killed people. They killed children, mostly. And you're trying to make us feel bad that Sarah and Mary were gone and that Winifred's all alone. You're trying to make us feel bad when they were killers? I'm not happy with you, sequel. You ruined this good movie with your whole, we have to redeem the characters crap. You didn't have to do that. You couldn't make the Sanderson sisters just evil people like they were in this film. You didn't have to redeem them. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'm done. I'm happy talking about this film. I'm done talking about the sequel. Its sequel is bad. There are people who like it, but I'm not one of them. I think the sequel is crap. It had some good ideas, but it was terrible. But this Hocus Pocus movie is the one worth watching through. The sequel, you can skip because it just rehashes everything in this film and tries to redeem villains who don't need to be redeemed. So anyway, I'll see you next time for some more stuff. Also, sequel, you can burn because you tried to redeem villains that aren't redeemable. The Sanderson sisters are killers, and you're trying to make us feel bad for killers. We don't feel bad for killers. We dislike Killers movie, and you killed Hocus Pocus 2's good potential. Bye, sequel. Hello, first movie. I love ya. I don't like your sequel.